Welcome to another episode of Postpartum Connections. And I'm your girl Tashia. And then you're probably wondering where my counterpart is. Yes, she had her baby. So yes, congratulations, Ashley, on giving birth to her baby girl, Savannah Rose. So once again, welcome. This is episode 6. And today we're going to be discussing pregnancy and infant loss, one mom's story. So I'm joined here with a very special friend, yes, Dr. Latoya Pinnock-Wilson.
It's you.
Yes, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, she's a pastor, yes?
Yes, so they say.
She's an author, transformational holistic vision coach. She's an intercessor, community peace ambassador. She's a devoted wife, mother, sister, mentor, and above all, a humble servant of our Lord, committed to healing hearts, transforming communities. She wears many hats.
Yes, I do.
Absolutely. Caring for not only her family, but the communities around her. She's a certified grief and anger management specialist, Christian counselor, Christian life coach, and a fetal infant mortality review advocate. She's a community mental health advocate and a doula, specializing in birth assistance, postpartum care, bereavement support, and her work is rooted in holistic, trauma-informed care that honors both faith and emotional wellness. She's a proud graduate of the University of the West Indies. She holds a degree in social work and social services. And then she went on to get an honorary doctorate at the Theology of Christian Counseling at the World Bible Theology Seminary. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So fast forward, alongside with her husband, Dr. Pinnock-Wilson, co-founder of the Josiah Speaks Hope, Inc. It is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit organization established in loving memory of their son, Josiah. The organization provides advocacy, education, and holistic support for mothers and families navigating pregnancy loss, infertility, offering a safe and affirming space for healing, hope, and restoration. Its guiding declaration is rooted in Jeremiah 29:11. Together we rise.
Yes, together we rise.
That's right. Her life's work reflects an unwavering dedication to empowering others, restoring hope after loss, and serving as a vessel for God's love, healing, and divine purpose. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me, sister.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, the University of West Indies. So tell me, what wonderful island are you from?
I'm from the beautiful islands of Jamaica.
Yes.
To all my peeps, wagwan.
Absolutely. So how long have you been here?
I have been in the U.S. for 11 years.
11 years.
Yes.
Awesome.
11 years.
Awesome. Beautiful. So, Josiah Speaks, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So tell me, how did you and your husband come to co-found this beautiful nonprofit?
So in 2018, I was a part of a mentorship program. And for previous years before that, we were trying to have a child. So we have an older child, which is Joshua. And so we were trying maybe about 10 years after his birth to get pregnant again and have another child, and it just never happened. I found out I had complicated issues. I had hormonal issues, and that affected my cycle. And it causes me not to be able to be pregnant. And when I do get pregnant, I end up with a miscarriage. So in that 10 years, I had 2 miscarriages. And at the time, being in that mentorship program, it's for women, and it was located here in Fort Lauderdale. And being a part of the program, I remember our first face-to-face session, this woman of God came up to me and she told me, "Oh, you're gonna conceive before the year ends." And so I laughed because in that moment I was struggling for about 3 months. I have been seeing my cycle non-stop. Wow. So when she said that to me, I laughed and I chuckled to one of my friends and I said, "Some of these people of faith are liars." Because how could God tell her that and I am over here struggling? So prior before that meeting was a Sunday, and a Wednesday I went to the doctor, and my doctor said to me, I only have 2 options. I either remove my ovary entirely to stop bleeding like that consistently, or I live on birth controls. Right. So knowing that I'm a Christian, I rebuked what he said, left the office boldly, and never returned. Wow. And because of that, I felt that this woman was lying. I didn't believe what she was saying. I didn't accept it because there was something different happening in my body that was unexplainable. And then, as individuals, we believe our doctors sometimes more than we anchor on our faith. Correct. And in that moment, I believed more of what the doctor was saying, even though I didn't accept it when he gave the diagnosis to me. And so I left that meeting feeling just confused. Who do I listen to? What do I do? Right. And months later, because at the time my husband wasn't living here in the US, and so he would visit spontaneously. And I remember him telling me that he was going to come for a weekend. Okay. And in my heart of hearts, I'm like, I'm going to prepare the most romantic time for us, hoping and praying that my cycle would stop. And that didn't happen day 1, that didn't happen day 2, didn't happen. But on day 3, I stopped bleeding. And we did what grown folks did. And I became pregnant. Did not know that I was pregnant. After he left and went back home, I started spotting. So again, in my mind, I felt like nothing happened and, oh, here we go again. I gotta go back to my doctor because I need to make sure that I'm okay. And going to my doctor's appointment, he told me he needed to do some blood work. Because now it's not heavy bleeding, it's spotting. So he said, let's do some blood work. Let's see what's going on right with you. But remember what I told you before. You gotta pick something. You can't just be living. And I was struggling with a very low blood count at that time too. Wow. So he was just pressing on me to do the best thing for me without him have to making a choice, without I have to be getting blood transfusion and all of that. He didn't want it to be the end game. And so we did the blood work. He didn't see anything abnormal that he needed to alarm me about, but I went home and I remember telling a friend of mine the prophetic word, and she said, I think we should start praying on that prophetic word. Don't you believe? And I said, a part of me want to believe, but a part of me don't believe, because I felt this woman was lying, because how can God tell you that? And she said, okay, let's pray on it and let's do what Hannah did. Let's pray. Let's have our own silent closet prayer. Wow. And she told me, for 7 days, let us pray and you're going to anoint your stomach. Now, she lives outside of the US. She lives in Jamaica. Right. And the first couple of days I did it, but just do it because, somebody told you to do it. So there wasn't any prophetic faith, crazy walk kind of thing, nothing behind. I just prayed and I just did what she told me to do.
Right.
And weeks later, I started to feel sick to my stomach. And I felt like I just couldn't keep anything down. I was working at the time, so I just felt like I was tired, drained, and needed some rest. And I went back to the doctor. When I went back, he said to me, "Congratulations, you are pregnant." The same doctor who told me I could never have children.
And that you had to take out your ovaries.
And I gotta take out my ovaries.
Wow.
He said to me, "Congratulations, you're pregnant."
Wow.
I myself didn't believe. I got 2 pregnancy tests from Walmart. Go home and do my own test.
You did your own test.
And it was positive. And so after 12 years, my husband and I became pregnant with Josiah. Perfect pregnancy. Absolutely beautiful.
So no complications, no issues throughout your prenatal care, none of that.
My entire pregnancy was awesome, beautiful.
Wow.
And I was even featured in a magazine somewhere in Orlando to have the biggest surprise baby shower.
Really?
In South Florida, because here it is that my church community, my work community, they came together and did a surprise shower because I couldn't have children.
Oh.
Based on diagnosis for 12 long years.
Right.
So it was a surprise, not just for myself and my husband, it was for my entire community.
Right.
And so it was just awesome. The pregnancy up to the entire 34 weeks.
Okay.
It was beautiful.
So what shifted?
On April 22nd, 2019. Cannot forget the date.
Wow.
No matter what. No matter what, I cannot forget the date. So I went to my doctor's appointment, and I have a special routine. So I can't eat early in the morning.
Okay.
So I would take my breakfast with me to my appointments or to work, wherever I'm going. I take my food with me. And I remember taking my breakfast, and I had a 9 a.m. appointment, and people would say, you're on the tee of everything. I was, because again, when you have been told multiple times that you can't get pregnant, you're very careful about everything that you do. And so in that moment, being at my doctor's appointments, it's normal. I was never considered to be high risk, even though to society I was a geriatric mom.
Right.
So I was never diagnosed by anyone.
Right.
It's just what theory says.
Correct.
And I had no issues.
How old were you at the time?
37.
37. Okay.
Yes, 37. Going to be 30.
Right.
Yes, 37, going to be 30. And I was sitting down normal at my appointments. I had movements. Everything seems normal to me. And so it was my time to see my doctor. But before that, I had a yogurt. And I was fine. And I went in to do my regular check with my doctor. You know, the regular stuff that we do. We hear the baby sounds. Are you eating? Is there anything? Because now you're on the last lap of almost ready to have my baby.
Right. How many weeks were you that day?
That day made me 34 weeks.
That day you were 34 weeks.
Because now I'm on a weekly visit.
Correct.
So that day, that Monday was my weekly visit, and I went in and, you know, I did the regular thing. I lie on the bed, I feel the movement, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm ready. Mentally, emotionally ready to deliver this baby boy. I cannot wait to see him. And I was at a clinic where it's a teaching clinic. Okay. So every doctor has a trainee
student
or intern doctor with them, and so my doctor had an intern with her, and the doctor gave the intern the instruction to listen to my heart, you check me, right. Basically check me,
right.
And she checked me, and her face looked very seldom.
Mm.
And I'm looking at her, why are you looking so puzzled?
Right.
But didn't ask anything. And at that time, I don't know why I didn't ask anything. And my doctor, she turned to my doctor and she said something to my doctor, but she used a medical term that I did not understand.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the room, and nobody's talking to me, nobody's saying anything. She turned to me and she said I should give her a mate. That's my doctor. The student doctor left the room. Now another doctor came back with my doctor. They both examined me. I ain't hear nobody saying nothing. I hear no sound. Nobody not showing me no screen. Nothing is happening. And I'm wondering, but I'm waiting. Because I'm patient. Be waiting. And my doctor said to me, I need to take you across the room to the ultrasound room. We need to look at something.
Okay.
And she said, everything is okay. We just need to check something to make sure what I'm seeing is what is happening. Well, my doctor, I trust you.
Right.
I've been journeying with you for almost 9 months. So we good.
Right.
And we go to the ultrasound room. I'm in the ultrasound room. I know the guy who's the ultrasound tech because we have conversation. Now, I've had multiple ultrasound.
Right.
I'm very talkative. He's very sociable.
Right.
So I'm expecting the same kind of treatment on this day. He says nothing. And I turn to him boldly. Is everything okay? He says, your doctor will talk to you. So I start to become a little nervous. And my doctor said, I will have to rush you to the hospital. I need you to do an NS test. Now from the islands, what is that?
An NST?
An NST test. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is that? In the islands, we don't know what is that.
Right.
So I'm like, excuse me, what is that? So I didn't know what it was, but I remember having a retired midwife that attends my church.
Okay.
So immediately, when they said they're gonna rush me, I text her. I said, I need you to call me because I'm a little puzzled and I'm at my doctor's appointment. So on my way to the hospital, she called me. She said, what's going on? I said, I'm not really sure, but when I get there, I will call you back.
Right.
I turned around. She said she's gonna call my sister. She's gonna let my pastor know that I'm being rushed to the hospital. You know, just to get my support system, because again, my husband wasn't here. So the plan that we have for birth is that we have X, Y, and Z, and they will come to the hospital.
Okay.
So I call the people who are a part of that support system and get everybody round up to the hospital
on notice.
so they can head to the hospital. I got to the hospital. I waited. My sister meet me there. We're in the waiting area. We waited. I had a nurse come out. The nurse called my name. And the most devastating news ever. The most inappropriate way to greet someone was how this nurse greeted me. She called my name. I answered. I stood up because my doctor told me I'm gonna go do a test.
Right.
So I'm prepared to do a test. I got there. The nurse came out. She said to me, I am sorry for your loss. Come this way.
Oh.
And I'm looking at this lady like, you must be talking to the next person behind me. I'm sorry, my name is kind of popular. So I'm just gonna have a seat right here because there must be another Latoya in the waiting room. I wasn't the only person in the waiting room. So I'm just assuming that she got the names mixed up. So I sat down and I sat there and she said, oh, no. You need to come with me. And you need to come quickly. And I'm looking at her. My sister said, could you repeat what you just said? Because now my sister is in shock.
Right.
And she said, oh, the baby's dead.
That's what the nurse said to you?
Just like that. The baby's dead. And she needs to come this way. So I reluctantly walk to the door. She placed me in a room. She gave me a robe, tell me to put the robe on, and she'll be back. I did what she says. I took the robe, put on the robe, I lie on the examining bed, and I sat there, and a doctor came in, the same nurse, and they both looked at me like, the doctor looked at me with a stone cold face. Mom, he didn't even know my name. Mom, I'm so sorry for your loss, but you got two options. You can push or you can do a C-section. And I'm looking at him like, what? So in that moment, I was shocked. So I started to cry.
Of course.
I started to laugh.
Of course.
I messed myself. I threw up on myself. I'm having all these physical emotions because I'm like, what is going on? I couldn't talk. So here it is that they're saying a bunch of other things and I'm there, but I'm not there.
Not there.
So my sister turned to the doctor and said, can I have a minute, please, to call her doctor? We need to speak to her doctor first. I remember my sister called my doctor. She asked my doctor. The doctor said, oh yes, the baby passed away, but we wanted to make sure. Did they do the test? By this time, my sister was loud because she was like, nobody did a test and I wish you had told her so I could prepare her.
Right.
Now she's in shock and we can't. And it was just
that communication.
the lack of communication, and then I wasn't prepared. And then in that moment, I had to pause. The way I was feeling and what was going on with me, and I had to now take the phone and call my husband in Jamaica to tell him that, listen, you got to get on the next flight and be here because this is what is happening.
Right. Wow.
With all of that, it was just so much. I didn't even know how to tell him that the baby passed and we have no explanation.
There's no explanation. None. And you said right up until then, like you had what you, as far as you knew, was a healthy pregnancy.
It was an absolutely healthy pregnancy based on what I know.
From what you know, you went to every prenatal appointment. You took your prenatal vitamins.
I did what they told me to do. I mean, for the first trimester, I had issues like maybe most or not all pregnant women. I had morning sickness.
Right.
And so during the course of that pregnancy, I couldn't eat meat, but I had a nutritionist that helped me plan my meals and I was fine.
Right.
And there was never a point my doctor said to me, you lack this, or you need this, or you need that. Gotcha. Your pregnancy is not moving in the right pace, so you're gonna need help.
Wow.
There was never that conversation. I've never been held. So in my mind, yes, I had a perfectly healthy pregnancy.
So as you were moving forward during this day, what did you decide to do when they gave you, once you kind of came to and after talking to your husband, how did you end up bringing your son?
So after
a vaginal?
I had a C-section because I had a previous C-section with my oldest.
Your oldest. Okay.
So having the conversation after I presented the news to my husband, he didn't know what to do. Right. So again, we went back to our retired midwife and she told us, listen, based on what's going on, the shock that you're in, my advice would be go with a C-section. Yes, it's gonna be painful. It's gonna be a longer recovery.
Right.
Yes, you can push because it's after 10 years, but I don't think your body will do the work it's supposed to do. So let's just move towards that. And she promised that she would help me to journey through that of the C-section. So I decided to do a C-section. I did the C-section, and I was able, thankful to that nurse, I was able to hold my baby, take pictures of my baby. I had friends that came the system that was supposed to help me with my baby to take home. They were there, were able to hold the baby, take pictures, and it felt normal, but it was a day I wish never existed. Because everything was just moving in slow motion. It couldn't end. The day couldn't have ended. And I think one of the hardest part was when the nurse had to take the baby to get him ready for the morgue. That was the toughest part for me, because now the reality hit. Because I had him in the room with me all the time until the end of her shift. But then it comes to the end of her shift and she had to let me know it's time for her to get. And even in that moment, I said yes with my mouth, but I don't think my heart and my body was saying yes. I just said yes because I guess, at the time, that was the next step.
The next step, right? You just kind of rolling with the motions, but in reality, your whole it's like an outer body experience.
Correct. That was what it was for me, because I spent 3 days there.
Yeah.
And after the 3 days, I'm ready to go home. And this is where the real deep trauma began for me.
Wow.
I was ready to leave the hospital and I wanted my baby. I wanted to leave with my baby and no one would allow me to. And so I got out of character. I created a whole scene at the hospital. I got out of myself and they had to call a psych ward because they thought that I was becoming psychotic. And thank goodness, again, I had my sister. She told them no. She don't even know how she's gonna be able to take me home. So they had to give me time to, come to. I wanted to go to the morgue, I wanted to get my child, I wanted to go home, I need my child. And so they didn't know if I understood reality versus what was not real in that moment. And so that was tough, that, transition going home. And it was after I got home. As soon as I got home, I had a friend that was a therapist. She was waiting on me at my house. She was waiting on me and she sat with me the whole entire night because I couldn't sleep. So she sat with me, she ensured I took my medication, she tried to help me to get something to eat. And that in itself made it a little bit more easier to start a new journey.
Wow. So you get home and not only are you recovering from a C-section, but then your mind and your emotions are trying to recover from that loss.
Yes. And not just your mind. The part nobody told me about was that, girl, your body gonna do what your body's supposed to do. I started to produce my milk. My breast started to get hard. There's no baby to get no milk. Nobody told me, don't try to pump, don't do none of that. None of that was explained to me at a hospital. So with everything that is happening, my body started to produce. I was in excruciating pain from producing the milk. And then I had my pump. So I started pumping. And the more I pumped, the more milk pumped.
That's true.
So that's another thing. Here it is. And then, so every time I pump, I'm thinking, my baby should be getting this milk.
Yeah.
My baby should be getting this milk.
And then your brain
start over
again.
The roller coaster ride start again. I started crying. Don't know why I'm crying. Girl, you should be strong. I hear my grandmother in my head. Get over it. So it was just a battle every single day.
Oh my goodness. So the process from the hospital, if you don't mind, what were your final arrangements for your son? How did that process go when they came and spoke to you? Did you talk with the funeral home? Like, what did that process look like?
So they had a social worker that came and she bought a booklet.
Okay.
This is a list of funeral homes or a quote-unquote list of resources.
Got it.
And she gave me them. Number one, she didn't check to see if I can read. Number two, you don't know what language I read and speak. She brought me the pamphlet, said, hey, I'm a social worker and I'm bringing you some resources. These are some funeral homes and some places you can get connected with to get help after all of this. So, okay. So that's okay. I just said, okay, the conversation was very light. I didn't read the stuff. Again, my church family, my pastor was the one with another church member who said to me, don't worry about the body, we will make the arrangements. We will call the hospital or we will call the funeral home and they will take the body. Because again, after you leave the hospital in Florida, I don't know about any other state, you have 4 days to get your body.
Really?
Or you can have your body stay there, make arrangement, and they do a collective burning. So what they do is they weigh your baby, whatever pound your baby weighs, and your body goes with the rest of the bodies, and they give you the weights.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
No, they don't do it.
Individually?
Yeah.
No, ma'am. I wasn't told that. I was never told. I'm telling you what I was told. Maybe it's changed now.
I don't know.
But this is 2019.
Wow.
I was told that. Because I called. Because when I was leaving the hospital, the social worker and the doctor who did my C-section, I didn't see ever after.
Right.
I saw an entire different doctor when I got on the ward. And he told me that, he's assuring me that I would get an autopsy. Because here it is, I don't know what caused my baby to die. Because nothing is wrong with me. For the 3 days I was there, I was never given a medication to say, this is for high blood pressure, this is for diabetes, or this is for X or Y. I wasn't even given iron tablets. So I just got painkillers and I had an allergy reaction and I got something for the allergy reaction. That's it. So I asked, again, a friend of mine said, ask them about the autopsy. They told me when I'm leaving, yes, you get an autopsy to know what's the cause of death, and we have to know what's cause of death because it needs to be on the death certificate. Okay. I get home. 2 days later, I got a phone call that my baby didn't die at the hospital, so they're not doing an autopsy. My baby died at the doctor's office. I said, how do you know? They said, based on a conversation between the doctor's office and the hospital.
Because your doctor sent you to the hospital.
Correct. Knowing that she knew the baby died, but she didn't know how long. But she wanted to make sure. So she sent me there to do the test to prove.
So that morning, you said you woke up, you packed your breakfast, you felt movement.
Yes, ma'am.
You felt movement that morning.
All day till I was in the doctor's office. But after the baby passed away and I started to research, I was told that it could be spasms.
So the babies can still have spasms within the womb?
Within the womb. Because again, the explanation I was given, remember, it's floating. So you could be feeling what's seemingly like a cake. Feeling like movements, and it's not. It could be.
Right.
But because no autopsy was done, we didn't know.
You don't know
the time of that when all of that happened.
Wow.
Because they say the baby wasn't. So one of the things that I couldn't understand is that how are they going to know what to put on the death certificate? It took me a month to get my death certificate because they didn't know. Something that is supposed to take 5 days. So on top of all the things that I was dealing with, I had to be fighting with the hospital to get what was supposed to be given to me. Because again, you cannot determine where the baby could pass on the way to the hospital.
Right.
So it could be multiple things, but nobody wanted to take the responsibility. Years later, I found out nobody wanted to take the responsibility. But I advocate to make sure somebody took the responsibility.
Absolutely.
So both doctor's office and hospital had to take the responsibility. Because the cause of action was not done properly.
Right. Whoa. So did you end up cremating or burying?
I did cremating.
Cremated him?
I did work with a funeral home that was well experienced.
Okay.
And they got some speedily express off the death certificate after they didn't want to give it to me at the hospital. They wrote a letter to the ASI and they got them to do it, to force the hospital to do it.
Right.
And they did it, and we did a cremation. I had a small intimate ceremony at the same funeral home, and we cremated, and we just had intimate time with family and friends after.
Did your husband made it up?
Yes, he did. On the day that we did the cremation was the day he was supposed to be born, which was supposed to be the 7th of May. So a month later, we did the.
So from April 22nd.
Maybe a couple weeks, maybe not a month. It's 22nd to the 7th.
The 7th.
Yeah.
Got it. So speaking of your relationship, right? How is his response, and how did it affect your relationship, this loss?
Oh man. In the beginning, it was okay. We were, my son, my husband and I, we were just riding the waves.
And your son, how old was your son at the time?
He was 12.
12, okay.
So we were just riding the waves. We were just going through the motion, doing everyday life stuff. I went back to work. My husband spent a couple weeks here, then he went back, because he had his job back home. My son ended up staying. I got him into school. That was a tough transition because, again, a lot of times, as moms, we feel like when we lose a child, it's just us that lose that child.
Right.
Forgetting that it's the whole community that lose that child.
Right.
And I had to realize that my son lost a brother.
Right.
That he was expecting. Even though he didn't meet him yet, he was expecting. He built a relationship with him from in my womb. And so he was expecting that brother. That it was very tough for me to explain to him. As a matter of fact, my son started to cry because I was in the car explaining to someone that we're going to do cremation, forgetting that he was in the car, and I was very explicit about it, and my son started to cry.
Wow.
And I had to tell my friend, I'll call you back. And I had to find out why he was crying. And when he explained to me why he was crying, in his own words, I had to, 1, apologize, and 2, explain to him that I was not trying to get him to be afraid. I was just explaining to his aunt what was going to happen. And she didn't quite understood it herself. So I had to find the appropriate words to explain to him. And even though I did, he never got therapy right away. And that was on me and my husband. He started acting out. And thank God we got him the help he needed. I never saw my husband cry, or he never wants to talk about it. So our relationship became very strange. We still believed that we belonged together, we loved each other, but it was weird. I would cry all the time.
Yeah. And
he would give his masculine shoulders, but I would never see him cry. And so maybe a year later, we were having challenges, and a friend of mine, she just said that you both need to let it out. What are you expecting from each other? And we just started sharing what we expected. And in that moment, I realized he was grieving in his own way. He might have tried not to let me see it, cry when I'm sleeping at night. Or he would wait until he get to his job, he would sit in his car and he would be there and have his moment and be macho when he gets home. So in his own way, when we decided to talk about our expectation, get back to the roots of what is bothering us, it was then I knew he was grieving in his own way.
Right.
And so I came to the conclusion that men grieve differently from women.
Yeah, they do.
They grieve differently because, again, men are built differently.
Yeah.
And so we have to understand that fathers do lose their children.
That's true.
And they might not want to talk about it. They might get upset, get angry. But there are ways they can be with it.
Right.
And we have to create that space for them. Because in that moment, I didn't create that space. I was just upset because I am not seeing you crying. Like, why are you not crying? I'm crying all the time. I'm crying when I don't even know what's happening to me.
Yeah.
So
what's going on with you?
And he had to make it clear, I have to be strong for you and be strong for Joshua at the same time.
Wow.
So
That's
it's
a lot.
the pressure. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's definitely a lot. So Josiah Speaks Hope. That came about. Tell me your thought process. So you have celebrated your son. You've been grieving. You and your family. You're back to work. You're doing your day to day.
And so months later, I was at work and I had a meltdown. I had a client came to me and she was just talking about her son and how her son was just giving her trouble. So I was working at a social services organization.
Right.
And she was just talking about her son and I just started crying. And out of nowhere, I was having a good day, a good week, and I just started bawling. And this lady looking at me strange, like, why are you crying, ma'am? And I'm like, oh, can you give me a minute? But it was after my supervisor explained to me that, I was just having a moment.
Yeah.
And because in that moment she sounded ungrateful because of the trouble her son was giving. In my mind, I'm like, ma'am, my son is dead.
Oh.
And so it was then I was recommended to a group called Tomorrow's Rainbow that used to be located, well, they are still located here in Fort Lauderdale, but they no longer cater to the needs of pregnancy loss. They do other loss.
Okay.
And I was a part of a group session that they usually have. And so I started going to therapy there. And it was group therapy. We had therapists, but it was more of peer therapy. So there were other moms who have experienced what I experienced, and they were talking openly about their issues and the things they're trying to navigate around. And in that moment, I realized what I was experiencing was very common.
Right.
We all were experiencing similar stuff in different ways, and we didn't know how to navigate the grief that we were feeling. And I remember just sitting there and I got upset, but upset in a good way. Because I'm like, all of us sitting here, I counted about 10 or 12 of us. In my head, I'm having a conversation with myself. All of us sitting here, we've experienced this, and we have experienced it. About 4 of us had experienced the same thing from a particular hospital.
Wow.
So in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is the norm. This is okay for them. They see it as an everyday experience. So I decided that I'm gonna go do a research to figure out what's their birthing rates like, what their death rates are like. And when I look at it, it was very appalling.
Wow.
Because it showed that my zip code had the most pregnancy loss. And among Black and melanated women, we had the highest rate.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, so this just did not just happen to me. It's happening to a lot of women.
Yes.
And how much of these women are getting really the help that they need?
Yeah.
So it was in that moment I said, I gotta do something. Because I'm always thinking of a solution to a problem.
Absolutely.
So no matter how small the problem is, I'll find the good in that.
Right.
And so that's how Josiah Speaks Hope came about. But I had this very lovely woman that used to check in on me. She apparently got my information from the hospital for a pilot project that was happening with her organization, Healthy Start. And this woman would call me every week, and I just didn't want to talk to her.
Right.
And she kept calling, and she was so persistent. And one day I said, okay, let's meet for coffee. I'm tired of you. You're getting on my nerves, and I just want you to leave me alone. So let's just meet.
Right.
And we met, and we were talking, and she invited me to join. So here it is that I'm researching, not knowing what to do with this research that I have.
Right.
But I'm not happy about the research.
Absolutely.
And this young lady from Healthy Start, we met, we connected in many ways. She liked my vibe, and she said, would you be able to join a committee where we discuss these things? On the board, we have so much medical people, but we don't have a mom that have experienced this loss. Yes. Would you want to be able to sit on this board and voice your opinion? And you can tell them how upset you are about the stats. I'm like, really? She's like, yes, without editing anything, you can share openly.
Okay.
And I'm creating the space for you. And I said yes. And I joined.
So you joined FIMRA?
I joined FIMRA, and
wow.
I was the first mom on the board, and I was able to meet my doctor who did my C-section, who called my baby Jay, and didn't know anything about me, didn't come back to see me. I was able to meet him. I sat through his reporting.
Yeah.
Everything that he had to say about my reporting, and just his very voice, I remember from him delivering my baby. So I waited until he finished, gave his conclusion to the matter, and then I started to throw a bunch of questions at him, and he was very pulled back and promised that he apologized for his behavior, and he, promised that he would help me to change the ratio or to do better at his job.
Wow.
And so after leaving that meeting, I got inspired that I should form something. Don't know what to form, but form something.
Form something. And then here comes Josiah Speaks.
I had a different name.
Oh.
I had a name called Rhema Life. So it's the word.
Yes.
Because it's the word that was manifested for my son to come about.
Right.
And so when I started to Google, I realized there was too much Rhema light in South Florida. I'm like,
Yeah.
He's different. He means more. So my friend that introduced me to FEMA, she say, what about you giving your organization a name after your son? I went home, I asked my husband, what do you think about it? He says, oh, that sounds good. But what are you gonna do? I said, I don't know. Let's just think about a name, and let's just start calling the name, manifesting some things in the environment, and then we will see where it goes from there.
Gotcha.
And he says, okay, he gave his permission to use our son's name, and then I just
hit the ground running.
Start running.
I hear you. One thing that I really did appreciate about your story is the people that surrounded you, your church, your family. Even though your husband was away, but just him still being there, your son, I feel like that support, and then you being linked to other groups that were in the area, just shows that there is some sort of support out there.
There is. And so that's why I try to be able to provide the support in the community, because without the support that I had, I wouldn't have made it. I would have lost my mind, because I've met a woman on Instagram through starting. I used to share my story, and I used to talk about months to months of the experience that I had and the different things that came up while I was grieving. And I remember this one woman, she inboxed me to ask me, how did I do that? How do I come about telling the world that I lost my son without feeling any sort of way? I said, girl, I'm behind a camera. Who knows me? That's the boldness that came from that. But then she was afraid to tell her partner that she lost her child. and she was about to commit suicide.
No.
And she called me, we talked, and I said, let's grieve together. Let's grow together. And we're friends 6 years later.
Oh.
And we've never met in person.
Right.
But that gave me the push, the zeal to be doing what I'm doing still today. Because we don't know when we share our story, who we're helping. I had support. She didn't have any.
Right.
But then here comes me on the scene to help. So for me, every day, it's about sharing the story and bringing the hope, one family at a time. Because we never know.
You never know. You never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. And we are so connected as a people, even as, you know, as parents. We say this all the time, like we struggle with the same thing. And you as a mother who lost is having that same struggle that somebody else has had. And just being able to just share that story and to support each other.
Just being able to just open up and give of yourself. And I've opened up so many times and I got back in return, because you never know who you'll be touching in that moment. And that is why it's called Josiah. He speaks hope. So from the very moment I got the prophetic word, he has been speaking until today. Never met, we never heard his sound.
Right.
But his tiny footprints are leaving magnificent prints on the hearts of other people around.
Wow. So, just one last thing to just tell our viewers and our listeners and anybody out there that may be struggling with a loss. How can they get in contact with you or check out your website, any groups that you have going on? Would you like to be able to share that? I know we will drop some information in our episode, but would you like to just share with our viewers?
Sure. So I'm on all social media platforms as Josiah Speaks Hope. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and it's the same for my website, Josiah Speaks Hope. And you can get me on those platforms anytime, anywhere. If you're struggling with navigating your grief, trying to find hope, maybe you're thinking about trying again to get pregnant and don't know where to turn, because sometimes we want to try again. And what I never shared with you is I did try again, and I do have a rainbow daughter. She is 4 years old, and doctors told me she would never live. When I was in my second trimester, they told me this child is not gonna live. She was born 7 pounds 8 ounces, and she is something to reckon with.
Oh man.
So if you're out there and you want to try, but you don't even know what to do next, you're trying to navigate the emotions that you're feeling, I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here. I do have a vision board for moms that are coming up on the 7th of February, and I do host an empowerment conference. I'm doing my thing. But if you're out there and you need help, just find me. I'm here for you.
Wow. Thank you so much for taking this time and sharing your story. We appreciate you today.
Thank you. It's
my goodness. Yes. So check out the caption so you can see the resources. And Dr. Latoya,
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. And as we wrap up this next episode, we appreciate you, family. All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching.
Yes.